This video contains a series of clips that range from scary to unsettling and disturbing. Check them out if you can. Clips like this make you even wonder if it isn't safer to remain at home when you feel all is not right with your body system. This is the case of a nurse who is a killer, a nurse who kills with potassium chloride.
The nurse who killed. Daniela Pagali was an average Italian nurse, living a normal life and loving her job. But that was a lie. Her co-workers got together and discussed her having a high death rate for her patients. When counted, she had more than double the deaths of the average nurse. The worried co-workers ended up calling the police, and they took her away, claiming she drip-fed potassium chloride into her patients. Potassium chloride being the substance used for lethal injection in the US. She would take the lives of patients she found annoying, or whose family she found annoying. And the most disturbing part is she would take pictures with the people she successfully murdered. She was a megalomaniac with a serious god complex, and her co-workers described her as being euphoric at the sight of her dead patients. It's a sad ending to a sad story, but she'll always be known as.
The idea of the death penalty is pretty disturbing, no doubt, but certain means are considered more painful than others. Check them out.
Top 3 most painful death penalties. Number 3. Lethal injection. Before the prisoner on death row is injected with the chemical most known for being lethal, the potassium chloride, the prisoner is injected with anesthesia to not feel the pain and a muscle relaxer so they aren't flailing about. Without these precautions, the potassium chloride would be extremely painful, but with them, most pain is psychological. Number 2. The electric chair. Before the prisoner is sat in the chair, their head is shaved and their calf is shaved to allow for good connectivity for the lethal shocks. Also, a wet sponge is added to the head. A bag is placed over the head, and the shocks of the helmet pretty much turn their brains to mush. This will be immense full-body pain for up to 45 seconds before the brain is too destroyed to stop receiving pain signals. Number 1. Firing squad. This method is left up to chance. Most die of blood loss, making it agonizingly slow. Some squads miss their marks, or even blow off chunks of leg and arms, which takes the longest, followed by gut shots, which are the most painful and still agonizingly long. Then, the proper heart shot, which would only last about a minute. This method is the most cruel and inhumane.
The night walker who breaks into apartments. The scary part of these killings is that there was no known pattern for murder weapon choice. A free-spirited killer.
The Night Stalker. From June 1984 to August 1985, there were mysterious repetitive killings in San Francisco, California. Before the killings took place, there were obvious signs of an assault in a sexual nature. The age of the victims were as low as 9 and as high as 79. Often called the Night Stalker from breaking into windows during the nighttime, Rich Ramirez claimed 14 lives and tortured dozens of others before he was captured in 1984. Usually, killers follow some sort of routine, but unlike others, Ramirez killed with knives, hammers, tire irons, machetes, revolvers, and even shocked some. He was born on Leap Day in 1960, giving him the rarest birthday. His mother was exposed to toxic chemicals while she was pregnant with him. At 2, he suffered head trauma from a fallen dresser. At 5, he was knocked unconscious with a swing. At 6, he started having seizures and his dad assaulted him and his brother. At 10 years old, he started to abuse illegal substances and sleep in a cemetery to get away from his family. At 12, his cousin started showing him pictures of assaulted women. And at 13, that same cousin killed his wife in front of Ramirez. It seemed as if Richard Ramirez didn't have a normal chance in life.
Not to be paranoid or anything, but how sure are you that the person standing next to you at the grocery store is not some sort of criminal or a bomber? After seeing this clip, you would get to understand why it is of utmost importance to always make research before you make any move. In the case of this clip, before jumping in any water to have a good swim.
Does this monster inhabit waterholes of Australia? According to Aboriginal Australian legend, the bunyip lurks in billabongs, creeks and swamps. It's reported that bunyip is an Aboriginal word meaning demon, devil or evil spirit. It's described as having a body resembling an ox or a hippo, a long neck and a round head, although some accounts suggest it has a human figure and long claws. This nocturnal cryptid is said to have a howl that carries through the night air, making people afraid to enter the water. Legend suggests that it will devour passing livestock or anyone unfortunate enough to wander within its range. The water-dwelling beast has baffled residents of Australia since the 1800s, with many encounters having been reported. So is it simply a scary story of folklore, or is there some truth to the legend of the bunyip?
Is it true what the rumors say about Connecticut? Would you believe that there are actually small humanoids with bulbous heads that inhabit the woodland areas all over Connecticut? Let's see what this clip says.
The small humanoids with bulbous heads inhabit wooded areas in Connecticut. In American folklore, there are tales of small creatures with oversized heads that live near heavily wooded roads on the outskirts of Connecticut towns. These beings are known as melonheads, and the road they supposedly inhabit are referred to as melonhead roads. Melonheads are often offered as an explanation for hikers or runaway teens who disappear in the area. One theory suggests they came from a family exiled into the wilderness after accusations of witchcraft. Their heads mutated after centuries of inbreeding. Another theory is they escaped a mental institution in the 60s and turned to cannibalism, which caused their heads to swell. Whatever their origins, it may be worth avoiding any roads in Connecticut known as melonhead roads.
With the number of stories said about ocean banks these days, it makes you question if you are really going to pick safety over having a good time with friends and family at the beach.
So I did additional research so I could try to find out more about the Lone Rock Woman. Somebody sent me another picture that I had never seen that was found on that camera roll. We know this is the same woman. It's the same setting, it's the same clothing. The question is whether or not it is the Lone Rock Woman. Stories of Lone Rock Beach tell of a legend of a murderous woman who hides within the scenery and preys upon campers. For those who have added to this story over the years, the woman who was seen on this camera roll in the abandoned phone is the closest visual match we have to this woman. But I don't know, even with a digitally enhanced version of this, it's really difficult to tell what we're actually looking at and who this person could be. It's just odd that nobody at the shore really seemed to remember seeing this person on this day, not even the rangers at the entrance point.
This clip is the story of the legend of El Silbón. This is the tale of the spoiled boy who killed his father because his father came home without the deer he had requested for. But what happened next is totally unbelievable.
Can you do El Silbón? This legend is native to Colombia and Venezuela, and it goes like this. There was a spoiled little boy who got anything that he wanted. One day, he asked his father to bring him home some deer. The father set out to get the deer, but when he returned home later that night, he was empty-handed. The boy was so mad that his father didn't bring him what he asked for, so he actually killed his father. After his other family members had realized what the boy had done, his grandfather took him outside and tied him to a tree. He started beating him, and it said that he took alcohol and chili peppers and rubbed it into his wounds. He then made the boy put his father's remains in a sack and carry the sack on his back like so. The boy then ran off into the woods, and his grandfather cursed him to always have to carry around his father's remains until the end of time. His grandfather also set hungry dogs after him. El Silbón now roams around the woods looking for other souls to collect and carry in the sack on his back. Now, it's said that if you're in Venezuela or Colombia, you can hear El Silbón whistling in the distance. Some people say that if you hear his whistling close up, he's actually really far away, and if you hear his whistling far away, he could be right next to you. It's said that if you carry chili peppers in your pocket, he'll leave you alone, since it reminds him of his grandfather's beating.
After watching this video, you might not look at your cat the same way. This is the tale of Smile Cat. It tells the story of a creature that looks like a cat, but that's not all there is to this creature.
Can we talk about Smile Cat? Smile Cat is a malevolent creature that looks like a cat, but as you can tell, something is quite off. This picture is from the account Lights Are Off. Disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Smile Cat is a cat that has a human-like mouth, and when it smiles, it displays human teeth. Smilecat is very similar to Smile Dog, and it's said that when you look at Smilecat in the eyes, you can see your own death. However, it's said that nothing will happen if you look at a picture of Smilecat in the eyes. It has to be in person. Although the origin of Smilecat is unknown, it is said that there's a way that you can summon Smilecat. So let me know if you want me to do a video on that.
You have argued that the Illuminati does not exist, right? This video would change your mind.
This is proof the Illuminati actually exists, part 2. Okay, so the video I'm about to show you shows Peyton List on a lie detector test, and she was asked if her and her co-stars were in the Illuminati. And what happens next will blow your mind.
As fellow Disney stars, are you all in a secret Illuminati-like club? No. Is it because you can't tell me if you are? No. Is that true, Sam? Inconclusive. Can you imagine?
Scientists say other species that inhabited the Earth are extinct already. But what if that is not the case? Check out this animal supposed to be extinct.
This is proof that we aren't alone. Okay, so millions of years ago lived giant creatures. And one of those creatures was a giant crocodile. But what if I told you somebody found a giant crocodile today? Just watch this video.
Do you know that if you get murdered, it is a 1 in 3 chance that the police would catch who killed you? Check out more unsettling facts.
These are some extremely unsettling facts. And I found all of these on Reddit. Number 1, and they'll probably get away with it. You see, movies and TV shows have painted this rather unrealistic perspective of what would happen after somebody gets murdered. If you, as an individual, for some reason end up getting murdered, first of all, I'm sorry, but there's only a 1 in 3 chance that the police will actually catch your killer. And that's not a very good percentage, I feel like. Number 2, man's best friend. Now, y'all know that man's best friend is dog. But in terms of domesticated animals, without question, second place is a cat. Cats are pretty much notorious for not caring about humans at all. Say you were to die in your apartment building with your cat. Your cat will wait until he is certain that you are dead and then begin to eat your body until there is nothing left behind. And last but not least, we have pig farm. Pigs will eat absolutely anything they could possibly get their hands on, which is why people who own pig farms are an immediate cause for suspicion when a murder takes place within the area and the police can't find the killer. This is because it's very easy for a human to just kill someone and then feed them to the pigs, and the pigs will leave nothing behind, except for maybe teeth and a couple bones, but you can dispose of that very easily. Now look, I know hearing these could not have been easy, and it may make you look at your cat a little bit different, but that's why.
Which fact do you know that is very unsettling? Tell us in the comments.